Happy New Year, guys. Most likely, if you're watching this, it's already been the New Year where you are. And you might be thinking, okay, it's a New Year, it's 2025, and I want to start the new year in a good position to change my accent by the end of this year. And so, what I'd like to do is to help you get prepared so that way you can actually accomplish this goal by giving you some insights or some things to be thinking about that maybe will help propel you in the right direction. Good morning, guys. Good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to your daily American English pronunciation show, which is Wake Up American. We are here typically between the hours of 7 to 8 a.m. New York, though this time a little bit different just because we have to do some traveling tomorrow to make sure that you can get in your 5 to 10 minutes of pronunciation practice for today because, hey, that is what it takes. If you are serious about pronunciation and trying to notice real growth and change, well, that's what we're here for, trying to show up for you. When I say we, I mean me. My name is Jeff. It rhymes with breath. That's one of the four keys to a natural sound in American English, including placement, pitch, breath. Trying to weaken your consonant sounds, strengthen your vowel sounds. We're joined by a couple of people on this New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. David, good to see you, sir. And also, Ganshim is with us as well. Thank you both for hanging out with me. And there's also you, which I also appreciate. So, again, I have 6 things I want you to be considering that I would love, love, love if you could actually do them, at least one of them, before the week is over. So, I'm giving you 1 week to try doing this, and then, hey, maybe you could do this regularly once a week. What if you did these things once a week for the rest of the year? So, 52 times or whatever. Okay. Try it out, think about it. But here is our first thing. What I want you to do before this week is over is I would like you to try to Zoom online or do a web call or something with native speakers who have a similar interest as you. Okay. I don't care where you are in the world. This is possible for you if you really want it. I want you to talk with some native speakers. And if you're like, how do I find native speakers to talk to? People aren't. It's hard to find language partners. Well, you're not looking for a language partner. You're just looking for native speakers to talk to. First thing I need you to do is I need you to think about something that you're interested in, like a hobby, something that you can talk with other people about online. Then I would need you to go to a website, for instance, like meetup.com or eventbrite.com. These are websites that host events, they show events largely based in the US. You can type in your area of interest, and then you can find some online events that are related to it and talk with native speakers about it. And the best part is it's free. You don't have to pay to talk to native speakers. You shouldn't be paying to talk to native speakers. There's plenty of ways to do it if you are actually motivated. Now, if you're scared, if you're too afraid to take the step forward, I can't help with you with that. But if you are willing to try something new, put yourself out there, take a little bit of a risk, there you go. That's the very first thing I'm going to recommend for you to do. The next thing that I'm going to recommend, that's kind of related to the first one too, is I want you to think about something that you're shadowing. Take a phrase or something that you're shadowing. And what I want you to do is the next time you have a conversation, I need you to use one of those phrases that you're shadowing in the conversation. Okay. You might be like, but Jeff, I'm shadowing and I don't really have a phrase I can use. Then maybe we need to shadow some things that are more practical. Just throwing that out there. Maybe we need to shadow some things that we feel like we can actually start using in our real daily life. Okay. So I want you to, before the week is over, take a phrase that you're shadowing and actually use it in a conversation with someone that you're having. Okay. Make it like a little game. Be like, I can't end this conversation until you use this phrase I'm practicing. Okay. So that's my second little challenge for you if you are willing to accept it as we get ready again in 2025 for dramatic change in our pronunciation. I have another little thing I'd like you to try. Another thing to kind of push you forward. I want you to post something on social media. It can be Instagram, it could be TikTok, it can be Facebook, it could be YouTube, it could be Line, it could be whatever you are. But I want you to post a video on social media, and I want you to target not your friends or anything like that. I want you to target native speakers, and I want you to teach them something about pronunciation. And if you're like, what do I teach? Well, hopefully, if you watch the channel, you have all kinds of ideas. You can teach them about what's placement like in your first language, what's breath like in your first language, what's a common vowel mistake that people make in your first language, what's a common consonant issue that occurs, something like that. Make a video. It doesn't have to be long. It could be 10 seconds, it could be 30 seconds, it could be an hour if you want it to be, but make that post it. If you do post it, you can feel free to put a link in the chat or in the comments, and I'll be happy to take a look at it as well, and I'll learn something from you, right? Do that. What's another thing that we can do to push ourselves forward using English, thinking about our accent and pronunciation? Well, one thing is, right now, there are lots of people from the US and Canada and North America in general that are abroad and studying. Can you find them? What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get in touch with a local college, local university, or if you don't have that, maybe a business or something like that. Find where the native speakers are. But most likely, especially if you're in a major city, there is a good chance that there are Americans there studying abroad. What if you went to the college? I would recommend you do this in person, but you can also call or you can send them an email. So I do recommend going in person. Go to the college and ask them if they have any volunteer opportunities to maybe tutor the Americans in the language, or like maybe to assist them with aspects of, living in your country for a little while, things like that. Just getting in touch with the college, see if there's any opportunities. Okay, find them. If you live in a place that has some sort of foreign department where they're bringing in students from abroad to study abroad for a semester or something like that, use that resource, because most likely if an American is studying abroad at a college in your area, most likely they have to take language classes, even if they're not necessarily interested in the language, but it's just kind of a requirement very often of studying abroad. So you may be able to help them in that regard. It's kind of something to consider. If you are still looking for more ways that you can kind of push yourself in 2025, ideally before the week is over, you got 1 week next Tuesday. Another thing that you can try doing: take 3 of your friends. Most likely you are not the only one from your country that speaks English or has learned English or things like that. And in fact, most likely you know at least a couple of friends who you may not know how well they speak English, but you know that they do speak English a little bit, or they studied it with you in high school, or they studied with you in college or whatever. What if you messaged 3 of them and said, "Hey, next Friday we're going to have dinner and we're going to do it in English. We're going to cook a whole meal in English and have a conversation in English. We can't use our first language." Something like that. Okay, so this is my next little challenge for you. So it can also be a group call online. I would recommend in person, but it can be a call. Okay, so that's my next little challenge for you. Just to try to use a little bit more language before the week is out. Can you do that? Are you willing to try? Or are you scared or are you just like, "Hey, that sounds great," and not doing anything? Okay. One final thing. If you're willing to spend a little bit of money, everything else I just gave is free. Everything I just mentioned here, all those first ones are completely free. Don't spend a dime. But if you are willing to spend a little bit of money, how about instead of taking an actual English class, you take a class where you just have to use English? So, for instance, what if you take an art class? Like, look up art schools in the U.S. or like online art programs in the U.S. Just like Google that. Find it in an art class, sign up for it. Make sure it's based in the U.S. You want to make sure it's based in the U.S. because who's going to be attending them? People from the U.S. Okay, largely people from the U.S. are going to be attending it. So this is a way for you to not only learn a new skill, because maybe if you're interested in art or whatever, you'll be able to pick that up, but you'll also be able to interact with Americans. You'll get instructions in American English. It'll improve your vocab, give you some phrases and things like that. Try it out if you're willing to spend some money. With that, guys, those are 6 things that I would love for you to try before the week is out. If you do try one of these things, send me a message. Let me know how it goes. I'm very, very curious to hear. Hello also to Shub. Thank you for being with us. Great to have you. With that, guys, I'm going to head out. But hey, thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. There's so many pronunciation resources out there. So the fact that you are here for a little bit of your time, especially this holiday, New Year's Eve or New Year's, if you're already celebrating, congratulations. Happy New Year. If you haven't had New Year's yet, we're still 40 minutes away. Well, I hope you have a good conclusion to your year and have a good day tomorrow. Thank you guys so much. I will talk to you all later. Have a good day, have a good night, and a good